Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Katy Breier about season 3 of The Boys on Prime Video. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm jazzed to be here finally.
I mean, finally. I mean, what? It's like maybe 3 years in the making, this interview.
Yeah. I'm a pretty uncoordinated person. I can't function in my life. So
Well, no, this is really patience is a virtue. We're doing this. It's amazing. The Boys is back. Cassandra is back. What's that mindset like when you know like the character's coming back? Like I always found that interesting, like playing like a character for another season. Like what's that mindset like right off the bat?
It was really out of the blue, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I did season 2, I thought it was like a 2-episode arc, and I figured that was it. You know, I've played bit parts my whole career, so I was like, okay, cool, that was fun, loved it. Got to marry Chase Crawford, so that's not bad.
Yep.
And then it was just during the pandemic, the casting director reached out on Instagram actually and was like, I'm just excited and I'm going to let you know that you're back for 5 episodes of next season. And I was like, what? I didn't realize this character was anything really. So it was just shock and confusion at first. And obviously I was ecstatic.
Well, it's shocking and confusing of the fact that this is like the show that no one ever knows what direction it's going in, right?
And I could not have foreseen the content that I would be faced with. That's for sure. I mean, from what we've seen already in season 3, Cassandra's been put in some interesting situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that was even crazier to actually read the script.
So when you got Cassandra for season 2, like the first time you played her, what did you know? Like, were you auditioning for Cassandra? Do you know it's like involved with the deep? Like, what did you know about it?
I knew that she was a cult member who was going to marry the deep. That's all I knew. I knew that she was supposed to be a bit of a weirdo.
Would they write that on like the description?
The description was just like, she's a cult member and she's a bit odd. And I was like, perfect. This is typecasting. A bit of an odd duck. And then it's just, she's grown and she's evolved and she's so much more interesting and complex than I ever could have imagined. And now I love her. I'm just obsessed with her.
You know, one of my favorite things about storytelling is lately, Katy? Yeah. It's genre bending. And yes. Does your teacup say narwhals on it?
It does.
Do you remember that video from like the 2000s, the narwhals song? Do you remember that video?
Oh my god, of course.
Narwhals. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because actually that was a Dawson thing. I remember being like in my last year of Dawson being shown that.
Oh my god, it's like the salad fingers and all of the like early viral videos that were so absurd.
Yes.
Like really absurd stuff.
There was a narwhal. There was a narwhal's one.
Why did we think that was so funny? Now we've come a long way.
Because there wasn't much out there. Like there was like eBombs World and like miniclip.com and that's it.
Oh, you remember we had the Tete Clack?
Yes.
In Quebec?
That was the Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts. It's
yes.
Like, just say Pop-Tarts anywhere in Quebec and people will be like, Tete Clack.
Yeah, 100%. And then there was like commercials for like hockey. I remember they were doing with Tete Clack as well. Yeah, that blew up. That was crazy.
Oh, a really absurdist time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, when you were like Dawson College, the Syncom students, like you probably talked to like Alex or Erica about this. Like we watched a lot of videos.
I bet. What a great way to go to school. How fun.
Honestly, that program was pretty awesome. Like I discovered a lot of cool like film and like music and stuff that like I had no idea like existed in high school. You know what I mean?
It's really cool. Man, CJEP is so great. It's a
crazy.
Great way to like transition from high school where you essentially learn nothing. Sorry.
It was like, and like it's pretty cool too because I talked to Erica about this recently as well. Like there's a lot of really cool people from our program that are like doing really
Doing
amazing
stuff.
things. Like some people are cinematographers, some people are colorists. Like a lot of people are doing cool things in the industry. So
That's
it's
so cool.
no, it's really awesome to see. Getting back to the boys. I mean, like I said, genre bending, and I got mesmerized by narwhals. But
Second teacup.
we can make an argument like that is the genre bending show. Like if you Google genre bending in the dictionary, like the boys will come up. Billy Butcher will be there, just being like, "What's up?" Like it's the most genre bending thing. What's it like being part of a show like that is a genre bending show in the landscape? Like that's all we're like interested in. Like people love blending the genres right now.
Oh yeah, it's so cool because superhero shows are such a big thing, and they're the form of entertainment these days. They absolutely dominate. And to see a show that I'm not very interested in the worlds of superheroes. That's never been my.
Not as many. There's a lot of people that are in the same boat as you, by the way. People just think everyone watches them. Like I know a lot of people that aren't into them. I'm just saying.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I think people, there's a lot of people who will, and they cost a lot of money, and they're big and grandiose, and people love them. But this really takes that genre bending, like you were saying, to a whole new level, because it really humanizes this world this fantasy world in a scary way that I don't think people were expecting. I think we've taken something so familiar. As if I have anything to do with it. They have taken something so familiar and have made it just like we're rethinking everything now. It makes you look at yourself and like the effects of power on any of us.
Yeah.
Even without superhuman abilities, it really makes you take a step back and look at our culture. It's such a deep, pardon the pun, a deep show.
That was good stuff. No. It's so crazy because like it's one of those shows, like it has moments, like this, like it's really funny at moments.
Oh, the first scene of season 3 is the most ridiculous.
The first season of season 3 is kind of one of those like, what did I get myself into?
What is this show going to be? It really sets the tone for season 3 very well. Eric Kripke, the showrunner, knew what he was doing with that. It was very impressive.
I spoke to like the illustrator, like and co-creator, like Derek Robertson before, and he says he's like seeing the like graphic novel become a show, like when it was like done, like seeing it, he says was like, yeah, exactly. He said it was like one of like the like most surreal things ever, he says. He's like, when I saw the first, because it's weird, right? You make a thing. It's kind of like you writing scripts, right? Like you write something. Like when we shot, like when the movie me and Jesse shot like a couple weeks ago, the horror movie, like we've been talking about that for like a long time. It's a outer body feeling, I feel like.
Absolutely. It's so cool. Yeah. And my writing partner and I, when we first Erica Deutschman, shout
Crossroads
out.
is streaming now on Popternative TV episode 1. You can check that out.
Check it out. It's
There's a special thanks for Katy Breier. She's in the credits, so check it out.
I didn't even know that. Honestly, well deserved.
Yeah, you're thanked in the credits. You're in there.
Oh God, I'm so important. But yeah, check out Erica Rhodes. It's hilarious. It's so funny. But when we wrote our first movie, and we were lucky enough to both star in it.
Yes.
As friends, and talk about a surreal experience to not only have your first feature film made, but then to star in it and to watch and to interact with the actors as they brought our words to life, brought a new meaning to them, and like things that we didn't even think of. We had actors come up and be like, "Oh, I thought it was really interesting that they said this. Was that intentional?" I was like, "No, that was not intentional." Like fun little moments that like were totally not what we expected. But it was a wild experience.
But getting back also like to the boys and like genre bending, I feel like maybe now because it's so like it's trendy, right? Like making like horror comedies or making like dramedies, like it's a trendy thing. So maybe now, but I feel like when it was becoming its prime, I don't think anyone woke up in the morning and was like, "Hey Katie, let's write a comedic super hit," like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think genre bending like was planned or premeditated. I feel like it just happened.
I know. Well, I think it's because you can only do the same thing so many times.
Yeah.
You kind of, we are seeing the same things, and we're remaking the same movies and expanding on the same franchises until they're
Do you think the acting has to do with it too? Like you look at Chase Crawford who plays the Deep, right? There are moments where he's just kind of in a he's just in a scene to talk to his therapist and stuff, and just his facial expressions, and he's not trying to be funny, and you chuckle, right?
Yeah, I do wonder. Like, is that just really good casting? Is it? Watching the show. I'm just like, the casting is just brilliant. Like, they did such a good job with everyone.
Yeah.
That cast, and I do wonder if it's just really good casting.
Because like, are you like, do you do horror movies? Like, do you like horror movies?
Like, do I act in them, or do I like watching?
Do you like watching them?
Some. I'm more of the supernatural.
Okay, but like, you know, like those, the YA, like, or like, you know, like the movies, like Scream, for example, like those, like,
Scream, shout out.
Yeah, I know Jesse loves Scream. I know he loves Scream. He lets me know about it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Alex Harouche loves Scream too. But like, there's some characters in those movies that aren't like, they just say something and they're saying a line, and because of the, like, just the way it is, you laugh at it. And I feel like that never happens like before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
So it's casting. I think it's casting. I think you're right. I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, it's true. I guess there are some like moments that were just like, Scream is a good example of that, because it is a little bit meta. You know, it pokes fun at itself while staying really true and loving the genre.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it, is if you're going to play with the genre, it has to come from a place of like deep respect and love. Yeah,
and I feel like, and to add to that too, like Jordan Peele, who was like just a comedic genius, then turned like horror movie icon genius, which is like
totally
the coolest thing ever, right? It's gonna like, that to me,
In his Key and Peele, their sketch show, which I've watched every season of that several times over.
So good.
Some of their sketches, some of the horror ones that are all his brainchild, you can like, they're actually a little bit eerie. Like, watching Get Out for the first time, I was like, oh, it's all making sense. He loves horror so much, but he also just has this really like insane comedic mind.
He's one of the most, in my opinion, I tell a lot of people this, he is like, in terms of my interest in like getting into like filmmaking and stuff, like he's my biggest influence, because I just love what he did with, like, I love that, like, Get Out, Jordan Peele, like Matt TV, Key and Peele, Jordan Peele, like wrote this scary horror. I love that.
Well, circling it all back, like when someone just like comes out of left field and just like super impresses you, and like diverts from their genre, the genre that we have like pigeonholed them in, and it's just like, oh, by the way, I can also make some of the best horror films out there, even though I'm a funny guy. Just a shout out to sweet Chase Crawford,
yes,
my lovely husband on the show. Like, who knew he was a comedic genius?
Yeah,
who knew? He's just, you look at him on Gossip Girl, which I actually admittedly have never seen.
Yeah.
But, I know the reputation, and he's handsome, and he's,
there was a real big change with the Deep storyline, and like from the first ever episode of the show to like now, like that was a big transformation.
Oh,
like the Deep, like he wasn't a comedic genius in the first season.
No. Once you slip into insanity, once
Cassandra shows up, it kind
welcome. You're welcome. This season, he's so funny. It was really a lot of fun to like just improvise lines. I'm not as fast as everyone. I'm like, it's an intimidating set to be on.
Oh, absolutely.
You can imagine.
Oh no, there's so much talent. It's amazing. And first 3 episodes dropped when it was released, and now we just gotta wait for new episodes every Friday, which is exciting.
Isn't it torturous?
So before we wrap up, I think there's a world for both. Like, I love the binge and I do love the waiting. Now, I'm media, so I don't have.
You don't have to wait. Oh, have you watched all of it?
Maybe.
Oh, wow. Oh, so you know all the juicy goss.
Potentially. We'll leave it at that. Katy Breier, thank you so much for coming on Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a blast.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that The Boys Prime Video season 3, check it out. More episodes dropping. People could follow you on Instagram, right? It's the best way to go.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only social media I use. I have Twitter. I don't use it.
Absolutely. Well, it's been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative previous episodes. So last time, Katy Breier replaced Cassandra in The Boys on Prime Video, and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.